What's going on YouTube? Hayden back with another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's episode, we will be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as Cardano to Bitcoin. As always, if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications. We are doing a huge giveaway at 5,000 subscribers, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. Just really quick, I want to refresh the current coin market cap to get a better overview of what exactly is happening. We are seeing some prices rally back up to normal levels, so that's definitely a good sign in my books, and I kind of wanted to share that with you guys. So just really quick, want the coin market cap to load in. There we go. It's at 256 billion, and then we have a 24-hour volume of 13, which is a little bit higher than where we saw yesterday. Bitcoin dominance slightly growing at 47.8%, and that market cap at 256 is slightly higher than yesterday, but nothing too crazy or too hectic going on. When I scroll down, you can see we are kind of in a recovery mode right now in the market. We do see a majority of the top 10 cryptos up ever so slightly. We only have 3 that are down. IOTA still getting hit pretty bad. We may have to review that coin soon, down 8%. Bitcoin up 2.2%. Ripple down 2.75%, which is definitely interesting and may have broken down. We're definitely going to talk about that in a second. Ethereum at 409, and then let's see, Litecoin up 1.47% at 74.60. Very nice to see that Litecoin is holding a pretty critical support. So just really quick, want to go into the market and, just to pass judgment on everything, the market is dominated by Bitcoin. So until we see Bitcoin decide to move and volume move into Bitcoin, that's when we're going to see the rest of the market pump. So you guys really have to take that into consideration when you buy alts. You know what I mean? Most of the time, yes, there will be some outliers, but for the most part, majority of altcoins follow Bitcoin. Volume moves into Bitcoin, volume moves into the whole market. So just really quick, I am looking at Bitcoin on the 4-hour, and I do want to kind of check that out really quick. So you can see we did find a bottom. We double bottomed actually. So that was quite nice at around $6,900, closer to 7,000. And you can see we are currently climbing back up. One thing to point out is that I'm just going to zoom out on this. You can see we are at around 48 on the stock RSI. So that definitely is good. You can see we were bottomed out pretty low right here, as you can see for the bottom right here. That is currently why we are moving up. Makes sense. But it does look nice. Another resistance right here, you can clearly see it around 7,100. Small resistance. But I do think the Bitcoin on the 4-hour is going to try to move back up to that high-low middle moving average. You can see we did have that green band cross over the red band, so that was an indicator of pulling back down. That's why we saw that dip. Pretty big support right there. So that's something to take into consideration when trading. Let's look onto daily right now just to give a quick market update. So just to zoom out a little bit more, you can see really quick that we did have that ascending triangle. Yes, we are in a bearish market in the meantime right now, so that kind of could potentially be why this ascending triangle broke. Bearish instead of bullish, which a lot of people have been saying in the comments that most ascending triangles break bullish, but I guess it really depends on the whole situation of where the currency is, you know what I mean? So for the most part, we did break down. We did not use the high-low MMA as support. You can see it acted as major resistance in the past here, but we are still below. The green band has not yet decided to cross over that red band, so we are still in a slight bearish market. You can see how wide it was open in the past and how much smaller it is now. So it's definitely a good sign that we are getting closer. More resistance is coming to play. You can see we are pulling back up slightly, but do have a ways to go to get back to that $8,500 kind of level where we were seeing a lot of resistance in the past. That was also due to being overbought, at that 8,500. So to see us pull back, it was kind of necessary. It was definitely anticipated in my book. So that was a needed pullback in my position, in my point of view. I don't know about you guys, but leave a comment, let me know if you agree with that. But we are pulling back up for the most part. We definitely bottomed out at a level very close to this reverse head and shoulders pattern, and for the most part we could potentially be setting higher lows. If we had a bottom here, if I just zoom out, you can see we had one here, we had a second here, now we had a second here. And one thing I'm starting to notice right now, guys, a more interesting line of support, something along the lines of this could definitely be in play. I didn't notice this a few other times we made videos, but just recently I'm starting to notice a nicer higher low forming, ascending triangle, or just a uptrend in that sense. You can see right now this is a very nice smooth pattern. So if this does hold true, because we do have 3 points of contact, and I didn't notice that in the past, but if we can continue to fold on this and move up higher, we could potentially break and move up into some nicer highs if we continue to ride this upwards. One thing to notice, guys, is that at some point, probably I'd like to say around the 25th, so that's honestly going to take a little bit of time, but it's very possible that we could potentially bounce up off of this support, retest that high-low MMA, probably not break it, and then consolidate ever so slightly, and then continue to move up and hopefully break that high-low MMA. But today is only the 7th, and as you can see, the end of this triangle right here is around the 28th, so kind of the end of the month. But this is going to take quite some time. It's nice to see that we are setting higher lows, though. That is definitely nice to see. I'm going to zoom out really quick on the weekly to show you guys a better overview of what I'm talking about. And one thing to notice at that is the fact that I'm just going to really zoom out so you guys can get a better picture for all those who are new to the channel and haven't been caught up. Kind of want to refresh, summarize what we have. So right now you can see with Bitcoin, we do have a major descending triangle in formation. You can see right here, and then you can see the bottom. I drew it in yellow. I know this kind of looks very congested, but it looks better when we zoom in on like the 4-hour charts. But you can see we do have a red band and a green band, and you can see the red band is moving upwards, which is quite interesting. But in reality, it's actually helping the currency. It's helping it push up off of here. The weekly lines are extremely, extremely solid, and the fact that we are bouncing up off of here is definitely a good sign. You know what I mean? If you notice in Bitcoin's previous time, it has always been using these high-low middle moving averages as support, and it really has never broken down below it. So, it's weird. This is the first time the red band has crossed over the green band in a weekly scale on Bitcoin in history. So it's definitely new for me, but for the most part, the fact that it's using this as quite a nice support is definitely a good sign, and it's never broken the weekly supports. So it'll definitely be an interesting thing. We are setting higher lows, as you could see. We did break bullish out of that descending triangle, and if we just bounce up off of here, I'll draw it really quickly what could potentially happen, but you can see how we set this a higher low. If we just keep rocking this pattern and continuing higher, we could inevitably reach $11,000, $12,000 quite literally soon. And to just kind of point out where I'm talking about, right over here, this is still not the end of. I'm gonna really extend this just to show you guys. If we continue to follow this ascending or uptrend, we could hit 11,500 by just the beginning or the end of 2018, the start of 2019. So there's definitely potential, and that's why I kind of predict that we should see a Bitcoin at around $10,000 towards the end of the year. I'm truly am bullish on the fact that we should be setting higher lows now and continue to move up. So to move on from that, to check out Litecoin, I'm looking at Litecoin on the 4-hour. Let's go in depth, and then we'll zoom out really quick. But you can see we were overbought quite some time ago, and you can see at the same price level, we moved up from an area of around 25 all the way up to 38. So we're definitely looking good. The fact that it's interesting. It's pretty much at the same level, but it's higher up on the RSI. But you can see we are moving back up, facing some small resistance. We are still encased in this downtrend right now. We still have not yet to have broken that, which I'll show you in a second. But I do think it's going to consolidate a little bit longer and inevitably reach up and try to break above its high-low MMA on the 4-hour. To zoom out really quick onto the daily, you guys can see what I'm talking about. This yellow line that I've drawn is a massive resistance. Just to show you, here we go, a massive resistance on the coin that has been pretty much playing an effect for quite some time. You can see right here. I'll delete this white one for now. It was a channel that you can see it started in. I'll leave it there. You can see how it broke down. We were facing resistance here, broke above it, and we're just trending on this. and then we're consolidating in between these two. So it's definitely cutting down to the wire. Things are getting pretty heated right now. The fact that we are still involved in that, it's kind of just finding the bottom, the level of exhaustion, which definitely looks like it's going to be coming up to very shortly. If things do go south, the lowest I think it's going to go to is like $65, maybe $60. That's the bottom, and I'd be very shocked if we do go that low. But honestly, if we do, that's going to be it. I think the market is going to be pretty exhausted by then, and there's pretty much only going to be room to go up at that point. So Litecoin definitely looks good in my opinion right now. You can see right here, I'm just going to delete these little lines. We've explained those in previous videos, what those are. So you can definitely search and find those out. But another day of consolidation, another day of trading sideways. It's definitely cutting it close. We really need to see what happens. We really need to break this yellow resistance band that has been on, or spell. It's been a spell on Litecoin for about 8 months now. So until we see a break above the yellow band, I am pretty bearish on Litecoin in the meantime. Bitcoin looking quite nice. Litecoin still bearish in the short term. I really need to see what happens until we break this yellow. I'm gonna continue to say we're bearish. I do anticipate us to break it though quite soon, and I do think when we do break, we should head right back up to that high-low MMA at around $100. So I do think at the end of year prediction and EOY, we should see around a $100 Litecoin. Another thing to notice is you can see when I zoom out here on the weekly now for Bitcoin, for Litecoin, we do have the downtrend, you can see, and quite literally the fact once we broke and started trading on this channel right here, once we hit bottom, which is why I pretty much inferred that this was going to be the exhaustion point, the lowest crypto wanted to go, mainly because there was no trading here, all sideways trading. It did not want to break. And the fact that the support is coming in on the weekly is another reason why I'm quite sure that we are bottomed out and exhausted. I don't think we can go much lower. You can see this is pretty much at a $70 level. So I don't expect Litecoin to go below 70. I'd be very, very, very shocked. And if it does, it will not hold below 70 in my opinion. But you can see where it would happen. We bounced again off of the downtrend, broke bearish, still in play. You know, we're going to have to see where this candle goes. And quite literally, it's going to be this candle, if not the next week's candle, that's going to show us whether or not we're going to break this this downtrend, this 8 months of resistance. So it'll definitely be an interesting thing in my book. Otherwise, Ethereum trading sideways as usual. Not much is happening. Not really following any currency. You know, no Bitcoin, no Litecoin. Kind of doing its own thing. Another day of consolidation on the daily. Looking for a support level. You know, the longer it hangs out at this level, the more likely it is to break down to the next support at around 380. So if Ethereum doesn't get any injection of volume in the next couple days, I do think it's going to break lower. So definitely be prepared for that. Another thing to notice is I do have a trend line drawn on here. And if we extend this more, which I'm going to try to do right now, you can see how this could potentially be where Ethereum wants to break down to. You know, you can either draw this here. There's one line here. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that, actually. That was another one before, but you can see if we break lower, we could potentially fall down to this trend line. I don't think we will. I think it is trying to find a bottom. But inevitably, if Ethereum decides to trade sideways, it will continue to fall down. But when money moves into the market, I again think we're going to retrace back up to the high-low MMA. And lastly, Cardano. Somebody asked me to review this, so of course I will for you guys. Cardano is looking good. You can see I did draw a bottom support. And you kind of take a look at this chart right now. You can see I found a bottom support right here where this candle decided to break upwards. You can see where the coin is getting sandwiched. I have some support levels in play right now. There are resistances at as well. So on the daily, the high-low MMA is finally coming into play. We were exhausted over here at the oversold position at the bottom a few days ago, like 3 days ago, 2 days ago. No, actually 4 days ago. And you can see we've consolidated slightly and are kind of above this support level, which is quite nice. I do think we're going to trade sideways. What we may end up doing soon is trying to retest its high-low MMA once again, so it may break up to this level and retest that. It'll probably fail again and then fall, but if you wanted to sell off, that would be a good point to then buy back in lower. Definitely a suggestion, something that I would recommend doing, or something I would do. I don't want to kind of tell people what they should and shouldn't do with their money. I'm not a financial investor. I'm kind of or advisor. I'm just telling you my personal opinion. But I'm also seeing a downtrend on Cardano as well. Quite interesting, actually, now that I look at this. So I do think it's going to follow that quite literally and kind of, like I said, trade in between here and then hopefully break support and continue to ride up. But hopefully that downtrend helped clarify things with the currency, and you can kind of draw your own off of that. But that's going to sum up the episode for today, guys. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Giveaway at 5,000, so make sure to smash that subscribe button. And otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.